Welcome back to Zaka Stokvel Insights. If you've just joined us, we are looking at the structure of burial societies and how members can restructure their model to reach their desired goal with my resident guest expert, Thabiso Masurubele from Thai Vision Media. Ntate Masurubele, before the break, we were just looking at how the burial society can motivate their members to stay and how they can also look at ways of recruiting more people. And you were just touching on how transparency is key. Can you just continue with that?
Yeah. So I think because then you're talking about costs that are going up, you need to take people along with you on that journey to be able to justify why you're moving from paying 100 Rand to 200 Rand for that premium, so that it becomes easier for people to relate to why that change. It's not just something that you're thumb-sucking. So you then go back and say, our benefit has been 6,500 Rand. And we've all agreed that 6,500 Rand doesn't cover the costs that need covering during a funeral. So we all agree that 6,500 Rand has to increase. So equally, the premium also needs to increase. But with the increase of the premium, you then also share the bank statements to say, this is the current balance that we have. And on this current balance, with the benefit that we have, it's a simple calculation of taking the total balance that you have divided by the benefit that you pay per claim. That gives you the number of claims that you can honor. And then what then that does is that once you make it clear that you can honor with the balance that you have, you can only honor 5 claims. And then people start wondering that, but we've got 100 insured lives, but we can only honor 5 claims. What happens in the event that my claim is claim number 8? What does that mean? It means simply that your claim will not be honored because you're using that amount that's in the savings account. So it becomes very important for people to share and be honest and be very transparent to say, this is the situation. Going down the line, we run a very real risk of you guys accusing us of having squandered all the group's money, which is not the case. What would have squandered the resources would be all the claims that have come in. So having a look at that challenge, we then have to engage with an entity that's registered, that's authorized, that even if we have 30 claims, they'll be able to honor those claims. And how they determine what the premium is determined by what we choose the benefit to be. So you'll have someone who sits with the group and says, how much are you guys looking at? But remember that the amount that you're looking at has an impact on how much you'd be paying. We'd all like to get 100,000 Rand for a claim, but we can't all afford the premium that's associated with 100,000 Rand. So the process of sharing that information and being transparent becomes very important.
Just touching on that subject of honesty and transparency, Nkateko did touch on how, she wants the burial society to grow even further, just improving and increasing their savings. So how can burial societies generate income? How can they raise funds?
Yeah. So there'll be different circumstances for different burial societies because of locality, because of the different circumstances. But generally, there are different ways that burial societies can build up reserves for themselves, if they like. So the closest thing that we always look at is burial societies, by the nature of what they do, have become quite good at providing a service, a funeral service, just outside of being a funeral parlor themselves, because they know a lot about catering, especially the catering aspect, because I think that's where burial societies play a huge role, outside of the service that's provided by the funeral parlor, you have the burial society, helping with the vegetables and preparing the meals and so on. So that gives people an experience, and that experience can then be monetized. How can it be monetized? It becomes a catering service that they provide not only for funerals, because catering, you're preparing food, and preparing food, you can prepare food for funerals, you can prepare food for weddings, you can prepare food for traditional ceremonies, and so on. So what are the things that are attached to that as a service?
But just touching on that, just them having to diversify and also offer catering services. There are a lot of catering companies out there. So how can they have that competitive edge and also just be a key player within the economy?
Yes. So what you then have, you then look at your locality. So most catering company, it becomes a price war, if you like. So because, remember, price is determined by different factors. So for instance, if you have to go rent the pots and the pans and the stoves, you're going to be paying some other people. But if you own those assets, you're then able to determine what the price becomes. So what these groups then look at, I mean, we've had examples where we've engaged with burial societies where they've had money in their account, they then invested in the equipment that they know that they need. And then either when they're not catering, doing the catering themselves, they rent out the equipment for revenue. And then because of the fact that they own those assets, they then able to then look at the market and say, what are the average prices? What's our value proposition? If the 10 catering companies, they are dealing to which target market, where's our target market? So then they start looking at it from a business point of view to say, as this business end of the society, we have to be clear in terms of which market we're targeting. So we're not going to target the high-end market where people are looking at spending 100,000 Rand on catering budget, but we think there's a gap in the lower end of the market, which is where we play, which is where we say we'd be able to provide competitive pricing and a competitive service for people because we understand that particular market, and then that opportunity lies in. But as in any industry, they have to compete. I mean, commerce is competition. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough road, but they have to make sure that everyone understands that's the direction the burial society is taking.
It would have been great for Nkateko to give us more information, like when did the burial society start as well, just so that we can track their progress. Yeah. And I'm sure it would have been easier for you as well to see where else can they grow as well.
100%, it would have been.
The reasons for the emergence of burial societies are historical, economic, and cultural. As the industry continues to grow, more and more financial solutions are being designed for the nation's Stokvels. If your Stokvel or burial society needs to know more about this broad topic, please do contact us using the details on the screen. Until next week, that's it from me and my team. Goodbye.
This program was brought to you by Thai Vision Media, helping Stokvels and burial societies reach their goals.